This free acrylic tutorial is being brought to you by the Ginger Cook Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, and contributions from caring viewers like you. Now, on with the show. And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. One, two. Oh, Pooh Bear.
What happened?
I forgot to remove that one. I forgot the image. Okay, now we're on.
We're on?
It's a typical show. Nothing's ever different. Doesn't matter when we're doing them.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. Ginger Cook here, and John Little over there. And
Sammy at the controls who's messing things up.
And we are doing a palette knife painting today of an interesting artist who was painting in 1906 and was very influenced by Vincent Van Gogh. And his name was Emile Nolde, N-O-L-D-E, and he was German and also from Brussels, from Brussels also, I think they said, Belgium.
Oh, here you go again, mixing things.
I think they said that. Anyway, so it was an interesting time. I mean, it was hard for artists to get a voice. By that time, in 1906, Van Gogh was, even though he died before he sold a lot of stuff, he was starting to be recognized, and this man was influenced by him. He was what they called one of the early expressionists, sort of a movement of just expressing how they felt about art. Or, you know, you'd have to look it up. But anyway, I suppose in some ways I'm a bit of an expressionist too. And he painted for quite a while. It's very diverse. He just did a few of these bright, colorful pictures. Pansy Garden was one. You've seen that on YouTube. We have and I didn't do it with the palette knife, but Pansy Garden was certainly one of the paintings that was very influenced from me by him. And this one I thought would be very pretty. It lends itself to a palette knife. We're going to have fun painting it. And here you go, see?
No, they can't see it yet.
Oh.
Unless you're holding it up.
I'm not holding it up. Too bad. I'm seeing it's kind of cool, right? So this is a fun thing with a palette knife. It's
okay, now you can hold it over there for a second. Hold it there for a second. There you go.
A lot of bright colors, which I like. One. And I like all the mauve and the pink and the blue in the street. And I like the three little people and these odd little houses and these beautiful kind of yellow. They look like, this looks to me almost like oleanders.
He just called them yellow flowering shrubs.
So he didn't care. And then there's sort of this nice group of flowers here in the windows. So what we want to do here, I've got a very bright blue background. If you can't quite get this blue, it doesn't matter. Get some sort of light blue background. This one was made with phthalo blue, white, and a tiny bit of yellow to get this sort of robin's egg blue. But it's not mandatory that you have it. Now, halfway on his, right here, halfway on his is where this. Now,
wait. You need to look at that because that's almost a square image.
Yeah, it's almost a square image, but it doesn't really matter. I'm still doing it this way. So I'm gonna. I can't see anything with this pencil. Oh, it broke, that's why. Well, let's see, where's my little box of pencils?
Oh, that's a great box of pencils.
So yeah, just, and if you want to know where we got these, and we've had these, a couple years now. I think Robin got us for us, bought us these a couple years ago, but they are available on our Amazon store. I don't know why I ever decided to put the lid back on. Probably you did that. Certainly wouldn't have been me. All right, this pencil needs sharpened. It goes back in there. So I'm going to just start off with this. I'm just going to give you, on my 8x10 canvas, this is halfway, right there. So, and I'm saying this is probably halfway on his. So, and I'm got a little bit more room than that. So I think I'm going to do something like this. And then I'm going to say, this is how wide I want this. Then I'm going to come up here like this and say that my roof is going to come down like that, on here like this, and then it's going to go, it would probably connect somehow like this, about I don't know, 3 fingers above that. So it's going to come down like this, and these lines here are going to need to be straight up and down. All right. He's got a bunch of straight up and down lines here, and then he's got this path here. He's got a very wide, kind of a circular path here, and then comes in front of this house, and he had a lot of fun. I mean, this is like, I mean, I hate to, I'm not criticizing anybody, but it's very interesting how he did the windows. But, you know, we're doing it with the palette knife. We're going for color, not for detail. Let's have the roof overhang a little bit. There's a bunch of, here's our people in here. Do we think we got this too wide? Oh, yeah. Well, we're seeing a little bit of this house do this, I think. A little tiny bit of the house do this. Okay. So then this is doing this. This is the path. And then your path is really kind of doing this. So all of this area in here is path, but
you get some of it being blocked by
the rest of this is going to sorry, going to be flowers up in here like this, right? So let's bring this down a little lower here like that. Here's our little people. This is pretty narrow here. This is coming down here like that. And that is how we're going to draw that in. All right, so the colors we have, we're going to use a couple of different palette knives, but probably the main one I'm going to use is this one. Because for a small canvas, there's no point in doing anything bigger. So I'm going to start with the back first here, all right? And the first thing we want is some white.
Whoa. First thing you want to do is, what colors do you have out?
Oh, I have white, yellow oxide, ultramarine blue, phthalo green, dazzling purple, magenta, cad red medium, burnt sienna, and phthalo blue.
Thank you.
So now we're going to start here with some white in the middle right here. And we're going to take a little tiny bit of, like, less than 1% of phthalo blue, which is like kryptonite, and mix that up like that. Sound effects are good. Everybody's good with that?
You got to have the sound effects, or it won't mix right.
Now, we're not really graying this blue, but we might take just about 1% of the brown and put in there and gray it just a little because it's going back there. So it's not quite so bright. Okay, so we're going to come back up here on our buildings because we sort of know where this is going. And we're going to put in our roof here. So far so good. And not our roof, what is this? We're putting the sky. That's coming to me now. Yeah, sky. That's it. Sky. Okay? And then there's a little bit of this color underneath. I'm just looking at, I want this color there, but I don't want it right this minute. So I'm going to move it over here and pile it up. I'm going to take it off. The flatter the paint, the faster it dries. Okay? So this happy little house here, some white and a little yellow oxide, a little bit of yellow, is I think I got, you're right, he's square and I'm a little longer.
It's all right. You're just going to have a bigger path or more space at the end.
I'm going to have to put a bush or something here because otherwise my house will be too wide here.
Oh, you can do that.
We're redesigning this as we go. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to take this color here and what else can I do with that, if anything? Well, this is fun. I guess we could do, if we put a little phthalo green with it. A bit more yellow. It's kind of a neat color. we can come back in here like this and just do it on the tip of our palette knife and suggest there's a tree going back here like this. Now the thing is, we're not mixing this into the blue, we're laying it on top in nice little thick patterns. And when we get closer to here where our people are going to be, I don't want that too thick, so we're just going to flatten that out here. Because we got some people that are going to go in here. All right. And I probably could have taken some of that. And I'm going to add a little bit more brown and phthalo blue to this. More yellow to darken this up. There we go. And not mix it up too much. And I want to take these brush strokes and go straight down here.
Yeah, it's still called brush strokes when you're using a palette knife.
I guess so. I don't know what else would you call it. Now I'm going to take some yellow oxide with
Palette
that.
stroke.
And I'm going to go streak this down here like that. Not too far, and then I'm going to do another one right there like that. Those two little streaky down things. Okay. And then let's see, what else? Because since we've darkened this up, a little phthalo blue and yellow oxide, we've made this green a little bit darker. Okay. Still want it, some yellow in it though. Brighten it up just a hair. Okay, I'm going to come back in here and just using the tip of this knife, barely touch this.
So that's basically like a tree forest back there with the sky behind it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just hard to know with this guy, but I thought the colors are also pretty. I don't even care, right? All right, so now I'm going to take all of this color, scrape it all off, mound it right there for my greens. Okay. Now let's do a darker green roof. So let's take a little bit of phthalo green and ultramarine blue and a little yellow oxide. It's a nice deep green color, maybe a drop of magenta with it, darken it up. Now let's come on the top of this roof like this. And did we have enough color here? Maybe not. All right, how do we make that? Everybody remembers? It'll work. I come on top of here like this, and I want this using the edge of my. You can get nice sharp edges with your palette knife. You just have to do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. Now. That's got a lot of colors in it, but we're not going to put those in right this minute. Now, where else do we know we have a dark green edge is right here. So flatten all this out. Here, let's just, before this paint dries too much, just flatten it out. Put some on the edge of the knife like that. And there's this dark green right there. And where else do we have some dark green? Well, we're going to pull the knife in toward us like this. This is still wet. Okay.
What do you think that is over there? Do you think that's windows?
These are windows. These are windows. He had a lot of fun with this. These are windows.
They kind of look like windows.
So then we're going to add some more yellow to this, yellow oxide. Mix that in a little more. And Put these funny little streaks on the roof, like this, a little bit more yellow on it. Yeah, I want all of you. Because this'll mix into the wet green. Okay.
Seems like this takes an awful lot of paint.
Oh, it does. It takes a huge amount of paint. And you could, if you were doing this larger, you could, you know, mix some gels with it to kind of work it out. But if they take so much longer to dry, I'm reluctant to do that, right? So then the next, remember I told you we needed some of this blue color. So I need a little bit of this blue color under here, like this. Okay. And if I put some phthalo blue with it, a little too much. Phthalo blue is so bright. I don't know why these colors are up in this roof. I couldn't begin to tell you, but it's not my, you know, who am I to criticize, right? So well, there it is, right?
I have to admit, there's a lot of times you put colors that, you know, on your paintings that I wouldn't think to do.
Yeah, so as long as we're doing stuff, I think I'm going to put some of these light blue before I lose it all. I'm going to put some blues going across like this. Skip a space. And now I'm going to want some of these blue colors here on the walkway.
So you don't really do a big underpainting, blocking things in like you do regular painting with a palette?
Well, you can. Not on a painting like this. You could, but probably not on something like this. Here's a little bit of the darker blue, ultramarine blue color. And again, we're going to be layering stuff, but that's about as much as I can do here. I'm just trying to do the kinds of things I could do. Now here's a little bit of this darker blue on the edge, and it's still wet, so can I get that there like that? Yeah, there you go. Just right here on the edge of my palette knife here, like that. And they just don't have a lot. I'm just very curious why he did all this with the roof, but I don't know. I think I want that darker blue here. And I'm just going to touch the window like that. There you go, something like that. All right. So that's what we got there. All right, now then, what else could we do? Well, nothing. So we have to dry it.
So the painting's done. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah. So hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. Painting's done. Because this has to dry before we can go to Plan B, right?
Well, what's Plan B? What's the next step?
We're gonna finish these houses and all this over here in the background. The flowers in front will be last.
All righty.
Oh, before we do that, right? Let's carve out something. Let's do it. Let's just carve to see if we need to carve anything. I think we're okay. I might bring this yellow down a little further. I think I can bring it down just a bit further. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, now we're going to dry it.
Now you're going to dry? Here we go.
Just wipe off that extra. There you go. You know, when John and I first started out teaching acrylic painting, our goal was to take people who had never painted before and step by step bring them up to the level of a master artist. And when we first started the academy, we started out with a $300 camera and a $50 microphone and a $500 computer. And over the years, we've gotten 4 or 5 cameras shooting our videos. We've gotten terrific sound systems. We've gone to elaborate, larger paintings, much more in-depth videos. And as you guys got better, we got better. So if you want to really, really tune in and hone your artwork to the highest level, come see us at the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting and start at the beginning and watch your mediocre rise. Is that the right word? What is that? Mediocre, what? Fast rise? What are we saying?
Fast track. Fast track.
Get on the fast track. That's it. To be a really successful acrylic painter. Thanks. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go back with a little brush and use the same kind of thick paint. I'm going to take some white and I'm going to get some magenta and a little bit of ultramarine blue with that. More magenta. Okay, maybe a little more. Let's put a touch of cad red in it. There we go. That's an interesting color right there. Okay. So what he did, which was fun, let's see, let me just clean off this brush. I'm going to got my tub of towels here. If you guys haven't played with tub of towels yet, you know you've seen me talk about them, but this takes the acrylic paint off of everything, including dirty hands. I haven't mentioned these in a while, and I mean to. They've become such a household staple. Besides cleaning the house with them, the best stuff I've ever found to clean paint off your hands. And again, we have these in the Amazon store if you want a link to these where you get them. These are great. We love those. All right, so I'm just going to come under here like this and add this little streak of purple. And then underneath here, flatten out. Let's put a little bit of red and yellow together and make an orange. There we go. I'm going to come under here like this. Now if you're going to not do it with a palette knife, then you got to make it pretty thick. So we're going to just do this like this. See, there's our, okay. And let's see, do I have any more yellow oxide? I guess put this color in here like that. And then a little bit of the light yellow. I guess I could have a little more light yellow in here like that. There you go, just tap that in there. This was all done very wet on wet. Then here's a little bit of a, okay, so we got these little straight up and down lines on this crazy little house here like this. I think it's a little cheesy, but that's what he did. We're doing it too. And then we're gonna say that, I'm gonna just tap the brush down here like that. And this is the edge of it right here like that. And then the edge on here like this. And then we're going to make sure we have enough paint. A little bit of, there we go. And we're going to go across here like this. And then barely touch this and take a little bit of yellow and do this with a little bit of cad red yellow on the door. Pretty sure this is a door. Okay, pretty sure this was a door. Here's some white paint and magenta, which now goes up in the roof. Don't ask me why. We don't know. We're just playing along here, having fun with this picture. It's fun to criticize this. Why did you put the green in the roof? Why did you put it? I don't know, because it was in the book, right? We did it. All right, then I'm going to get a little ultramarine blue right here at the edge of the house. Here's some blue. Here's some blue coming down here like that. A little bit of white blue, light blue right down here. Some blue here. And then, for whatever reason, there's some blue here. I don't know. It's just, there it is. There, it's got some blue in there. And then, believe it or not, there's a little bit of blue on these windows. Okay, fine. Here we go, something like that. Something like that. And it's that messy. I mean, I'm sorry. This is not a stock folders painting. I should have done this in the beginning as a warning. This is not a stock folders. Beware, this is not a stock folder painting. This may not be your cup of tea. But if you want to get loose, you can't. As far as I can tell, as screwy as he painted this, I don't think you can screw it up.
No, you really can't.
I don't see how you could screw it up. Let's put a little yellow with that and get that robin's egg blue back again. That's so pretty. And put that color back in the sky here, or on top of the roof here. Let's put a little of this color back in this roof in here. Okay, so putting that there, and then there's a little bit of this blue color in here. And don't know why. And we're just kind of tapping into the texture. Okay. Okay, so now you're going, oh, Ginger, surely that can't be true. I'm going, yeah, but it is. That's what he did. So we're doing that too, right? Yes and yes. So we're going to come up here on the top of this and tap in this red tile roof. I would imagine that's what this is. Kind of right like that. And let's get some pink, because it got real pink on us here. He liked magenta. Okay, so we're saying that happened there. And then this happened here on the edge of the house. Here's something here. Probably should do these later, but I'm just going to tap down a few lines anyway, because guess what? Here they are. Okay. Now, before we get too crazy, I think that's the craziest door I ever saw, but okay, maybe that's the step. I don't know what that is. All right, I've got to lighten this up, brighten this up. Really, this is so bizarre here. Okay, fine. All right. That can't be right, but it is. I mean, I don't make this up. It's right. So a little yellow oxide.
And this is one of his better pieces.
Yeah. And
I'd like to share with you some of the other artists of the centuries.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't just, you know, I mean, you learn a lot by this stuff. Here's a little light color here on these. This is all layers and touched.
Now, what was this style of painting called?
This is called Expressionism.
Expressionism.
I don't want any art lessons. I'm just going to do whatever I want because I'm just going to feel it. Actually,
it was that mode.
But he went to art school too. This is what's extraordinary. Maybe he flunked, I don't know. All right, here goes my palette knife again. And I'm coming up here like this with my green, whatever's growing here, right? It comes over, now this is very important, it comes over the road here, so you can't just, there's brush direction, palette knife direction is important. Here's some darker green.
You're still conveying part of the story.
Now, it's a little tricky to do, because his was much bigger than this, and we're doing it kind of small, but I think you're going to get the idea of this, right? I wouldn't do it big, because this would cost a lot of money to do this large. You know, here's some white, and phthalo blue. Saying you don't want to.
Once you get those flowers in, you may decide, oh, this would look nice big.
Well, you know.
I think the flowers are what's going to really make it.
The flower are going to make it, because this over here, I'm not sure was exactly well thought out, but you know what? The thing is, and I've said this before, is these guys get out there in the landscape, and this house was there, and this was there, and you know, and whatever's there, that's what they paint. If it was there, then they feel obligated to put it in. Okay. Okay, now you got to be careful. I'm not going to put any pink colors in that green, but I do have the green all here, right? All right, so now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to put the light green colors in. So here's the yellow into that blue color we just made. We're going to start going this way. And we're not going to mix the colors very well, so they're going to go streaky on us all by themselves. Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it is different, isn't it? When you think about it, it's very, very different. I mean, it's a different way to approach something. Okay, and that's okay. I mean, I don't mind. It's just a little different. It's a little bit more cad yellow. Now I'm going to take this yellow, come back over here, if that weren't enough, and do that. Because if we didn't have enough paint on here already, we're going to get more.
We want to brighten it up.
We're going to brighten this up here like this, down this way, and we're going to put some white with that. Now remember, if you get the wrong color, just scrape it off. These windows are white down here. Okay? And then this is this fun bright green color. And let's see, I think we said we wanted this color down here like this, coming down like this. Okay? Some more of this color going this way. Let's see. Oh no, there was a little bit of blue coming down this way too.
Well, here's a little bit more about him. I believe you said he was German and what?
I thought that,
No.
no.
Danish.
Danish. Well, all right.
He was one of the first expressionists, a member of the Die Burg or Bruck, and was one of the first oil painting and watercolor painters of the early 20th century to explore color. So that's why he has all these colors all over the place. Okay. Golden yellows and deep reds appear frequently in his works, giving a luminous quality to an otherwise somber tones.
Okay, we can live with that.
He was mainly watercolor, though.
Yeah, but this was not one.
No, that was one of his oil paintings.
Okay.
He died at the age of 88.
I want some of this brighter color in here on this building. You know, I can always go back and add that, but there you go, right? All right, so, and I want some of this brighter color up here on this one. This sort of white, light blue color. Okay. All right, so you're going, yeah, now what? Well, let's see, we make sure we've got some enough dark stuff down here at the bottom. And then you have to ask yourself when we want to dry it, but I think what we ought to do, let me just pile up the greens again, wipe off the knife. We ought to take our small brush and put in the people while we can still get them in, okay? So we're going to throw those guys in. They're just, you know, you think about a head, you know, kind of a chewing gum stick for bodies. You know, you're pretty good, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of detail at all in them.
So we're going to come up here like this and say, here was the guy's head, and a little bit of a, kind of an orange face. And we went into blue for his shirt, which was, you got to just come on down here like this. And then it's almost a triangular. Just come up here like this. For now, I'm just gonna can put more details in it later, but there's a kind of a guy here, right? And then he's got and that's all the you know, there's actually more detail on it there than this, because remember his painting was bigger. So we're just suggesting we got a guy here kind of looking at everybody, and he's got his little hat on, and so, you know, it's coming out this way. And then he's talking to somebody over here who's standing next to him. Let's start with her dress. She's got a little dress right here like this, a little magenta. And white, let's get some white over here. Let's see, I actually want some white paint. This is too thick to use for anything. You gotta have some white that moves. That's the stuff that was in that. That's that junk that Jerry sells in the jars. It dries up really quick. It's fine for palette knife, but I certainly wouldn't want it for anything else.
That's why we broke it out.
Yeah,
We got a lot of it.
It just sits in the cupboard because it's just. All right, so she's got like a little frock on here. That's let me just roll the brush here, like that. That's just something here, and then up here is her. Here, and then she's a little lower than him, okay? And then this lady is over here in the green with the green shawl.
We got 3 people?
Yeah, we got 3 people kind of back here. And she's got this kind of lighter, she's got a light blue dress here. It's just very light, like phthalo blue and white. Remember, they all had long outfits, and you know, everybody had long clothes. So here's her, you know, she had like a scarf around, and then she had kind of purpley orange hair, like this. Her hair came up, her head came up a little taller here, like this behind this lady, and a little bit more dab of orange in there. So I've got to make him a little taller now. I've got these 2 ladies in, so I'm going to redo him a little bit. We're going to bring him up higher. When the paint's too wet, you can't do much, and we're painting over something. I'm going to say, here's him right here, like this. And I want to bring him up higher. Because his head's at least this high up above theirs. And he's got a little bit of something between his legs are, he's standing with his legs far apart. Let's start with the white and the blue. So they really look like blue jeans, but of course they weren't. They were just, all right, so here's this leg coming this way. And he's got this kind of, and it's all kind of muddy at this point. We can't do much with him until it dries, but we're going to bring up his hat up here like this. So he's got a hat on. And he's roughed in enough, right? Does that make sense? He's roughed in enough where you can just put him here, put them here. And her dress is actually longer than this one. Comes out into the street. All right, so how do we make something like that work? Well, we've got to put the green around his, we've got to go ahead and put the colors. Now this is where it gets tricky. Because you've got to put the colors around them so so you can see them. Does that make sense? So I figure mostly it's kind of this bright green color. Okay, now you won't be able to see him till he dries, and I come back and do something with him. But they're back against the street, and when you, again, this is one of those things where you get this. Let's make her a bit taller, Now, in order for her to show up with this yellow up here, then he did like a little bit of light blue on top of her hat. This is weird. So let's take a minute and dry this, and I'm going to work on these people till they're done. Because if the people are weird, then it's not going to work. So let's work on these guys, okay?
You don't want to just do the...
Just dry this one.
All right. I try to get them in 30-second spots, which some of them go on 30 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, okay, what can I tell you in 30 seconds about... Well, I coughed there. I lost 3 seconds there.
And now you're blabbing.
Now I'm panicked. But listen, don't you panic. Become a member of the Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook. Join a merry band of artists. It's free, it's fun, and you can place to show your acrylic paintings off and get tips and get all the gossip about John and I. And they were the first ones to know we got engaged. You could have been in on the know if you remember too. So I'm saying that real fast.
Maybe they didn't know that.
Oh. Well.
Did you know?
You ought to watch more videos, then you'd find out. So be sure to share this in your playlists. If you're enjoying the video you're watching, I hope you are. Surely you are. And thanks for subscribing to our channel. Okay. Now let's see. Let's get close up to this. Let me put my glasses on so I can see. And all right. So I'm going to do. Okay. Now what's happened is that this. Okay. Make sure I have my paint here. Okay. So we've got a leg here. Put a little white with it. And then he's got quite a light. I think I'm going to use phthalo blue for him and white. Brighten his shirt up. Kind of comes down here at an angle. And I need yellow. Clean yellow doesn't have anything out. So I want an orange color for his face. You don't really see a face, you guys. All you see is this. This is so much smaller than he made it, but that's all right. Let's pull this under here. So, what do we know about this guy, John?
Well, it looks like he studied...
Where'd you go to art school to learn how to do this?
Well, he didn't actually become a... he was a really working stiff until the age of 31 when he decided to pursue his career as an artist.
Okay.
When he was rejected by the Munich Academy of Fine Arts in '98, he spent the next 3 years taking private painting lessons, visiting Paris.
Okay.
And became very familiar with the contemporary Impressionist scene that was popular at the time.
Okay, so he got kind of kicked out of art school, right? Or never got in, right?
Didn't really get into it, yeah.
Never
he was
got
a
in.
drawing instructor at a school by the Museum of Industrial and Applied Arts.
So he could draw well.
He could draw well, which you certainly couldn't tell by what we've seen him paint, but...
Yeah, okay.
He married a Danish actress in 1902 and moved to Berlin, where he would meet a collector, some name I couldn't even begin to tell you, who both of whom became an advocate of his work, and another artist, Carl Schmidt Rootliff. From that year, he called himself after his birthplace. Called that him. So that's why he said he's from Berlin, but he really wasn't.
So he got kind of rejected in his own hometown.
Yeah. So that's when he moved on.
Okay, so I've suggested that there's somebody here.
So apparently the Expressionist period was a controversial period in the history and only lasted a year or two.
Really?
Yeah.
It was him and who else?
Well, I'm sorry, I have to do more research on that.
Okay. All right, let's bring him down a little bit further. Let's bring him down a little bit there. Then we're going to say those are his feet. And we're just going to give him a little yellow hat and go for there, right? He's got this little... You can't have an outline, but you've got to suggest that there was a hat here. And some sort of arms, and I don't know. All right, I'm just going to suggest that there's something here because this is not the focus of the painting. Could have left the people out and it would have been fine. But, you know, we didn't, so we're going to say that there's the blue color of this lady's dress. Now, for her dress to work, the green has to be, you know, she's got this dark green kind of cape thing up here like that. So we're just going to leave it like that. You can kind of see that there's some people there, but so let's see, what can we do to make this green color? Here, we want this brighter green. So it's very interesting. We don't have a lot of room here to do this, but we're just going to kind of make everybody smaller. Okay. Well, that's the thing. See, there's a lot of these, and I say, you know, there's a lot of these artists who just need some of this pink color. I'm going to put a little bit of this here. All right, so we're just going to start.
He's got a couple paintings in the Hermitage.
He does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe we'll get to see some of those.
Portrait of a young woman and a child, and a portrait of a man.
Okay.
Done in about the 1926. And
Did they say who he took? Did they ever say who he took art lessons from?
No, just private. And that's what they mean, private. It's so private we don't know who he was taught from.
Okay, so we're going to do the edge of this. I've got quite a glob of paint on this brush now. We're going to do the edge of this building. Kind of roll it off here. Because this paint's really thick. And I really can't get the color. Just I'm not getting the color I want on his face, which was orange. I don't want that. Just, there we go. Just want, I mean, all we're trying to do is to just suggest, by the simplest means possible, that there are, that there's a, here, where's red? I knew I was missing something. The naphtha crimson. Here. All right, because she's definitely got a, you know, this red's a primary color. You're not going to mix that. Okay. There we go. There's some red there. Here's some brighter red on this lady's hair. Some red here. Some red down here. I'm going to put some color. We've got to put, like, you've got to put a little color next to her, their clothes, or they're not going to read well. Does that make sense? Not that they particularly read well that anyway, but you can kind of see them, right? So I'm going to just kind of slow this down here and just doing these, using a brush, I want to put the long pieces in on the building. These have to be straight up and down. Like that. Because our main thing is, the main focus, you guys, is the...
is what's not there yet.
It's what's not there yet. But we still have to do something with all this. So, I mean, I'm going back over these stupid...
And again, it's because of layers. These other guys are in the foreground. You can't lay them in first.
No. So you got to have... Now we've got some color back in here. Okay. And this is what's so fun about that. And there's just these dark colors. And he just varied between the light blue and the dark blue, and it's really easy to get muddy in here if you don't.
What red is that you're using there?
That's just naphtha crimson.
Okay.
So I'm going to just starting to layer some of these blue colors in, like this, and a little bit of. Well, he had something going here like that. Okay. For this building, and then. A little bit of blue here, and what we're trying to do is just add enough color to make this all work. Okay? And then there was a lot of this kind of green next to this yellow gold green next to her. It was all green right in here like that. So if I do that, there we go. Let's get some of this green color going sideways. This is this light kind of, all right, doing all this. Now red and green are complements, so you have to be careful, because if you're saying that this is where you have to start drawing, but it gets a little darker on this side. So you want to be careful. If you've got some bright red, don't get too clever with the greens. Okay, so we're still coming back this way on our, now I don't understand what this really reminds me of the word helter-skelter. Does it remind you of that, John?
Yeah.
Helter-skelter, with these little, this thick paint, and coming up here like this, and kind of light green stuff like that. I think people have fun painting this. I don't know. And, you know, you can't feel too bad about it. Now, I can't put any, if I put all this green in here, which we're doing, then I'm going to have to overlap it with some other dried colors. I can get away with some of the light blue color here for my, and put a lot of this color in there. And I'm just scooping it up. Instead of using the palette knife, I'm just scooping it up with my brush, and I'm laying it in here really thick.
Just similar to what a palette knife would be doing.
Yeah, it's just that it's just a little easier to plop it off this brush here. And so we're just, you can get away with blue and green because yellow and blue make green. So if your blue is overlapping the green, it will just change it slightly. There were some very nice light blues in here. And when it all builds up, like for instance, like this is a really big hunk of pink right here. I'm just going to scrape that off. There. There's a scale to this thing I've got to watch because everything's so much smaller. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've got to be aware of the scale of my brush strokes. You know?
Yeah, you can't be too big with them.
No. Can't be too big because the people are little. Yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
And he's very bright and weird, and I'm going to come back and work on him, but that's all I can do with him for now. All right, so we're putting in that. That's pretty good. This is all sort of working. And now this area in here, back in this way, is a dark, there's some plants that are doing this, and they're very dark green. And I guess coming back this way. Okay, there we go. They're coming this way. Then these plants here are, this is coming all up in here. This is where the palette knife needs to come back. And, all right, so what we're doing here is we're saying that this is all little bits of plants coming up here like this. And then we're doing a lighter green on top. So you don't see these bottom windows. I mean, we can put them in, but you don't really see them because this is all...
It's all going to be covered up.
This is all coming down pretty much all the way to here. All right, so that's going to go there. And it's time to dry again.
Uh-oh.
What?
My monitor went out for a second.
Well, I can keep going for a little bit because I'm not...
No, it's back.
What? What happened? Did we lose our connection?
No, the monitor just went out. It bleeps.
The guy's legs are too long here. We got to shorten him up. And make his hat smaller and everything. He's all too big here. Oh my goodness. Okay, better? Good grief.
Hmm? So you're saying that's Charlie Brown back there? Charlie Brown and Lucy and Peppermint Patty?
Yeah, this is this is back here like that. There we go. Okay, so he's back there. And just so strange. Well, I have to dry it before I can do anything else to him. All right, so then, now what happens to all this stuff? Now this is what was so interesting to me. He had an extra line coming down here like that, these windows. And then he just kept playing with the colors. You know, it's a little bit of...
No, that's what he said, that he was studying colors. That was his thing.
And you can see it, right?
Definitely.
Just studying colors with, and he did. There was a lot of this, you know, but so it's interesting to me how he got these people to stand out, because they were just I'm going to just take this leg out. I don't like it. It was very odd. I'll put his blue back. Probably should have dried it first, but here we go. There we go. There we go. That's it. All right, we got people. Okay, just took a little fooling with them. All right, so we've got this big... I mean, you can really see from this how helter-skelter this is, right? And
yeah, you all dry over there?
I think I want to dry this. I'm going to put this big plant in, then we're going to go from there, right? We got to get that plant in, you guys. Otherwise, this is the saddest little picture I ever saw. So let's keep going. Okay. So in order for you to see this video, you had to get up on YouTube, and if you didn't have internet, like, you can't watch it, right? But sometimes we don't have internet. Maybe you're traveling and you want to be able to paint and sit there with your laptop or your iPad or your phone, and you want to sit out on a campground somewhere, or maybe go visit relatives and they live out in the boondocks and don't have good internet, and you want to still paint. Well, that's one reason, and just one of many, but certainly one great reason why you want to check out our downloadable videos that you can buy and own forever, and keep playing back, and no monthly or weekly subscription necessary. You own it forever, and we have some fabulous titles that I know you're going to love, and some aren't even in our academy. They're exclusively for our downloadable website. So check out. What's the website?
Ginger Cook on Demand.
Ginger Cook on Demand. I knew it. I just had a senior moment there. See you then. All right, we're going to put some new ultramarine blue out.
You got tired of the old?
It's gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. And the phthalo blue's about on its last little phthalos. So, you know, you can't mix the colors if you don't have them out. So it's going to freshen up that a little bit.
You know, that is very wild. I'm thinking a new T-shirt.
I know, you can't mix the colors if you don't have them out, right? So, and
that's
then
a
you
great
get,
saying.
So let's Let's find this little brush here. All right, so what we need to do is that we're going to just start putting on some of this green. Let's see, where'd that phthalo green go? We're going to make the greens in here and then dry it and then put the flowers on. Okay? So what we need to have is yellow, phthalo green and yellow. It's probably our main thing. All right. And yellow oxide, we'll just use that too. Those are going to be our main colors here. All right. So let's see what we can do with this is our green here. Put some yellow with it. See what color we got. Put a little ultramarine blue with it. There you go. All right, now if I put a little magenta with it, that'll make it a little darker. Now we've got this here, but I want to pull some brush strokes up here like this and suggest that we've got, this is all going to be dark in here. Okay, this is how we're going to do this. This is all going to be dark on this whole corner thing down in here like that.
So here you're kind of giving it a darker background before you start laying on the big stuff.
Yeah, because it's everything else is you know, is suggested in here is because of this, right? So we're saying all this is dark right in here. She's got this branch coming up this way, and you've got one coming this way, like this. So we're going to want all this to be dark. And then the definition of the plant is the light colors. Does that make sense to you?
Yep. Yep.
So that's where the definition comes from, is these lighter colors that are going to come up into it like this. And this one is going to come back over here, even a little further than we have it, all the way over here, and like this. So start putting the yellow oxide on this plant to lighten it up. And that's their light leaves on this one right here. It goes all the way over back to this guy. And then there's some of this color in the street. Okay? So then that's very confusing. I think that could be very confusing. Let's grab some of this white, yellow. Now, if you're doing this while it's still wet, what do you get? Now that's the question. This is all wet, so if I do this,
you better be careful, right?
Yeah, what do you get here? So I want just the right green with this. All right, so that's the green I want. Now, I'm barely touching it, and I've got really thick paint. Okay. And now I'm saying that there's some brush strokes going this way, and the paint's really thick. Stuff coming this way. And I'm getting new paint each time, almost.
Well, you have to, you can't press down.
Yeah, you can't press down because we didn't dry it. We're barely touching it. Okay.
It's probably, well, he did oil paint.
Yeah, so it didn't dry.
No.
So to get this effect, in other words, this is how I'm getting his effect, right? Okay, to see how I've got the, so I'm saying that this happened, so we're suggesting that this is all coming up like this. Because the yellow flowers are on top of this.
Yeah.
Okay, the yellow flowers are sitting.
This is still just the greenery supporting them.
Yeah, this is the greenery supporting them. So if this isn't, and then the street just sort of fills in around it. Okay? So the trick is, how did we do with that? Okay, so let's leave that alone for a minute. Come back and work on the street. Okay, so we can come back up in here, put pink all over the street. Not even sure why that was there. I think that just fell off the brush. Now, I don't know why their street's red like this. I don't have any idea. Someone's going to ask me why. And, oh, why do you think that?
He was exploring colors.
Yeah.
Apparently. And this is strange coming from you who does this to your own stuff.
I know, but it just...
Just because you didn't think of it?
No. I've stared at this for a long time thinking it might be a fun one to do because of that. All right, so we get...
Well, what do you think of it so far? I think it's fun. I think it's cool looking.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
You get those yellow flowers and it's going to bring it all home.
Yeah. And we need some light. Since this is just white on the brush here, need some of this light pink coming this way. Brush direction is going to be key on this. Trust me. The brush strokes get tinier when they come back here. You've got to make them smaller. When you get them back to where these little people are hanging out, they're tinier. We'll break those up if there's too many. And just take that magenta and a little bit of that red color, mix those together. And we're saying that right up here, there's these. And listen, these are not dots. These are not stars on a flag. A lot of them touch, okay? They're not just polka dots somewhere.
Sock folders out there. We know who you are.
Well, no, I mean, people paint this all the time. They'll do these stars on a flag. I don't get it. The dots touch. You want to come all the way up here with these flowers. And we have to come back with some more green on this, but that's these ones. Here's some darker reds. So he had, these all came up here like that, and so strange.
Why? But, is it red flowers behind the yellows?
Yeah, I know. So you say.
It's okay. What it is.
All right. So okay.
Like I said, you put those yellow flowers in, you could be kicking yourself, saying, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah. So far, my jury's out on this for me, but that's all right.
That's what I'm hearing.
All right. So I'm going to come up here with some yellow in the windows. Don't know why this went up and down like this, but it did so. Now, there's little dots of bright yellow in here too. This brush is too big for this. Should be using one of my fancy angle brushes. Okay, but we broke that up, yeah. A little bit of yellow up here, this yellow-green color up here on the street next to these guys. Some of this yellow-green color up here, way up here in the roof. Interesting, more yellow in the house. He had a good time with the color. You're right, he had a blast with these colors, didn't he?
Oh, he did.
And then he said that this dress was pink and really a bright magenta. This dress was a really... In fact, I'll tell you the color I'm going to use. I'm going to use my luminous.
I knew it.
Pink here for this dress.
I knew it.
I'm not getting it the color I want. There you go.
Right out of the tube.
That's the color of her little dress back here. And some of this color is, let's get some of this pink color. There we go. Because he had some bright, there we go. So you're wondering what this Luminous Rose by Holbein. And that is a delicious color.
Delicious. Have you been eating the paint again?
I have. There. Let's mix that with a little red. Okay. All right, it's kept coming along, you guys, right? You're going, okay. I'm kind of seeing it now. Not yet, I know. Nobody's seeing it quite yet. Where's the little tiny angle brushes? Okay. All right, let's see if I can't get a bright orange here. More yellow in it. All right. Keep going with her. There you go. Took me a while to get that color. All right, so now, it's our guys back there. Now we need to put yellow flowers here, and you cannot do anything until this is super duper dry. And the last thing we're going to do is do our yellow flowers and add a few blue ones. Like for instance, there's a kind of a bright blue flower right there.
But you're not going to put it in on wet paint.
Well, I can put it in over the green. See, I can add some of these blue ones over the green because. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. They're buddies. They get along.
Yeah, they're friends. They can get. Yeah, they get along, right? And if I did this and got some bright lights, I can add a few. Let me just roll that off the brush here. A few dots of light blue. See if I can get away with not drying it. This in here. Like that. I don't know why. This was like stars on a flag, these little dots of blue. Okay. Let's try it and go for the yellow flowers and see what happens.
The yellow flowers of Texas.
Okay. Okay. So, somebody said, why don't you guys have t-shirts? And because you know, if you've been watching our videos, most of the time that's what I wear. I mean, I only wear stuff like this if I'm not painting because I get paint over everything. So we actually came up with a really cute t-shirt that's designed for you to be able to not only paint in it, get paint on, but what are you thumbing for here? What is this?
Let them know. Be up in the upper right-hand corner. They can see a little sample.
Oh, well, they're going to ask me why I'm not wearing a t-shirt because they haven't come yet. It takes 2 weeks to get them. This is like you're on the breaking news, the ground floor of this t-shirt stuff. But we did a lot of research to make sure that the t-shirts that we got affiliated with were the highest quality, and we know a lot of people that own that brand. And we would encourage you to check it out, because not only do they have sizes.
So, of course they have sizes. What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that you can go from like extra small to like 5X. And you can pick out the colors. We keep the design, but you can pick out the style, the colors, and customize that t-shirt that, kind of fits you. And what I think is really cool is we're going to be having all kinds of new designs coming up. This is the very first one. And come join our merry band of artists and let everybody know that you paint with us. Okay. Now we're going to get cad yellow medium, and I think we had.
Do you ever put the caps on right?
No.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
He just drives me nuts.
I know.
Yes.
I'm in the middle of something. I'm
you
in
can't
the
be
zone.
bothered.
I can't stop. The mind's going 1,000,000 miles a minute. I know what I have to do to make this work.
Man.
And I'm looking for a little tub of towels to clean off my hands. What, I thought I had the cad yellow light out here. Last painting we had that.
You
Maybe
did
we
have
ran
it.
out. Do we have that anywhere, cad yellow light? Not, I can use white. Don't like
had
to.
it, though. This nickel.
This is not it.
We had it the last painting we just
We
did.
did have it the last painting, and I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. I see it.
You need adult
Okay.
supervision.
But there's not much left of it. That's why.
Oh, it's not your fault. Okay. You're the only one touching the paint.
Cad yellow light. Okay. Now the trick is we're going to start in here with a big bright yellow flower like this.
Zoom in over this section.
It's about as big as my thumb. There's another one next to it. It's another big one. And then this is a stalk coming up here. And then up here at the end, like right up in here, there's another big one. And then up here, so kind of at the end here, where this at this end, there's some big flowers right here. That's why we dried it, because we had to cover up some of that stuff. There's big flowers right here. Okay. So they're gonna. Okay, and then up here there was a nice big one. And then this whole corner up here, above here, was all these beautiful big layer of these wonderful flowers. And then we came up here like this. Maybe a couple, here's some cad yellow medium. Let's grab some of that color. Come on here like this and a few of these. Okay. All right, so those are our big, and they are pretty, aren't they? I mean, you haven't seen the rest of them yet, but you can see where this big splash of yellow kind of works, right?
That's what I was seeing when I saw it earlier.
But boy, it takes a lot to get here. So if I take yellow oxide and a little magenta, let's see, burnt sienna, make this sort of rust color, I can come out here on my, let's get some yellow, and how about yellow and burnt sienna? Let's try that. I want this thicker. Gonna come out here and say there's a, almost like a trumpet. It's very much like a trumpet. And I'm globbing this paint on like it's frosting. Okay. The same thing up here on this end. So that's going to be, stick some cad red medium to that.
You're just laying it in there.
Just barely touch. The yellow's still kind of wet.
Don't brush it too much.
Yeah, but yeah. If you do, you're not going to. This is the core on this. These are the. And then you want to say, how much can I get away with while it's still wet? Okay. So you start bringing these flowers into focus. No, this is a trickier one, because this is actually several flowers right here that are coming out here that are just all sort of jumbled together. Okay. Now, let's bring this. I need a couple yellow ones down here. So in order for these little guys to kind of show up, we've somehow got to separate all these dots of color, okay, so that these flowers are in the forefront and everything else isn't. So what we're going to do now is dry this and then come back and do the details. Hi. When John Little and I first got together, he was in Michigan and I was in Houston. We started the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting about 4.5 years ago. And our goal was to take people who'd never painted before and really show them the basics that you needed, the foundation of acrylic painting, all the way up to the highest level of something you might find in a museum. And I've got to tell you that the artists that have been with us for this, even just a couple of years, are painting things you wouldn't believe. Started out painting party, very simple art. Maybe that's why they got interested, and now they've come over to the Academy through the aid of personal art coaching. I'm telling you what, you won't believe all the wonderful reasons why you want to become an Academy member, but most of all, it just takes the Groundhog Day out of painting. Because if you're making the same mistakes over and over again every time you paint, it's got to be a little frustrating. Let's get better every time we paint. Come join the Academy. Okay. All right. So
I think it's cool. Are you warming up to it a little bit?
Not yet. Not yet. This is not. All right, but I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. All right, so we're going to say this right here. Let's get some dark green down here at the base of this plant. All right. Let's say that there's a. I got to put my glasses on here so I can kind of see what I'm doing. All right, so there's a little bit of yellow here. Base of this plant. And I want a couple brushes going. Okay, so that's yellow there. I need some light blue. Okay. So if I'm saying that's there, then I'm going to make this a bit smaller. Let's say that there's some light blue right here. And let's put some blue next to this one. Okay. And so this is so right now I'm sort of varying between the greens. which are coming up like this, and we're saying this is a stem of some kind. Very, very bright, which is why I wanted the phthalo to overlap some of this. I want a phthalo green here on these plants. I want a green leaf coming over here, top of this one. This is it's a sort of an interesting thing. So, for instance, like right next to this plant right here, I need a dark green something. Okay. See how that brought that plant forward? And I know I need this dark green right underneath it here. We had it already, but let's put it in again. This is the dark green underneath this plant right here. And come down this way with this. With that, see? Now I've said that's what happened to them. So then if that happened there, then we'll take a little of this light blue, do a dash of color right there. Okay? I mean, there's a kind of a rhyme of where we're putting, there's an actual thought behind where the green and the, we're actually building these flowers, okay? So here's my dark green again. And I'm saying that right down here at the base, this is dark right here. So then I want a light green next to that flower. And the same thing here. And a little light green petal coming out of here like this. And suggesting that we've got this stem that's doing that. Okay? And I want a little bit of yellow oxide here to just sort of change this a little bit. Now, okay, so far so good. Back to the dark green. So, this is a pretty dark, I want a dark green shadow next to this flower here. So I can come in and, you know, shape these flowers a little bit, see? Okay, now, same thing here. Now, what about these guys up here? Well, we know we need a dark one here, and we know we need some green coming up into those. How about a light green? We need a light green one coming right across the face of this. So, you know, flowers just, you know, the flower petals overlap. You've got to think about that, right? They overlap. They don't always just go up and die.
That's how you're creating the depth.
Yeah. So we know we wanted some brighter ones around here and some very dark ones. We're going to just make these smaller up here like that. These pods up here. Okay. Okay, like that. Maybe just erase that one. You know. And then the same thing here, this one. Let's just make this a little smaller and darker underneath. And then it has some light blue right there, here, here, dots of blue. I don't know why that blue's there, but it's there. Here's one here.
Have you seen a blue leaf?
Sure.
You didn't say that with conviction.
Yeah, okay. Now, I'm going to come under here like this. So I'm starting to see the plants a little more. I think. I feel like we are anyway, right? And this color here was bright. This was a very bright blue flower. And I'm using phthalo here. And there was some blue. All right, now where else can I put some blue? Obviously it's over here in the street. And I'm making some of these brush strokes a little smaller here. And let's see. We had it pretty white up here. Don't want to get too crazy with this. Now this really dark red here can go. That's not doing anything for us. So we're going to eliminate that so that these flowers show up. Start breaking all this up. And they get lighter up here by these guys. Now my people are a little bit more forward. His are slightly back. I'm not convinced these people add a thing to this. They're seconds from being removed. We'll see.
They have the human interest.
Here's his coat that's brighter. Couldn't get that bright before. And there's some light color right up in here like this. And got some of this green coming across here like this, and now we're gonna think we needed to put some green up in these little flowers. Get some dark green here. I think that's what it needed. Dark green under here. These bushes are all up here. Make some of the little flowers smaller. Okay. I've got more green here than he does. You know, I don't have as much, rather. Okay, so then this little spot right here, we need to define this.
Get those guys to stand out a little better.
Yeah, they need to be up a little more. So what can we take away and create that? That already sort of did, didn't it? And put a little bright orange here. There we go, get that brighter orange color. think we're getting it, you guys. So, now what? Okay, so where are we? Second coat of yellow, a few places. Well, you definitely see the bright yellow flowers in front, don't you?
Yes, you do.
So I don't know, you guys. I mean, I think the jury's out on this one. just to me, you know what I mean? It was fun. It's interesting to paint to see how someone else might have brought this image into the world. How's that? What the thinking was behind it, if one can discern that. And then there's some light green over here in the street. And then what we're missing is all the light green in the street. I didn't even put that back up in here yet. So the question is, how are our people? Do we need to do anything to our people? Do we need a second coat of pink on the red flowers? These are all pertinent questions. Yeah?
These are questions that people are wanting to know. Well, it's definitely a different style from your usual.
Well, it's not my normal style because to me it's very messy. But on the other hand, there are people that really like painting like this. You know what I mean? They don't want to have to, you know, and that there is a real art to how he did all these colors. You know, I mean, there's no question about it. There's a real...
oh, there has to be. Otherwise, you just have a big mud pie there.
I mean, how he conveyed all these colors. And you got the sense of perspective on the street. These flowers going up the street. I think the people needed to be these. I need to pick these people and move them back about, but I can't because of the size of the house. Because again, we had a slightly different size canvas, but still.
Yeah, they got to be in front of the house. I think he had them closer to the back of the house.
Yeah, but their head was still.
Yeah, so you couldn't do it with your guy because your people would then be teeny tiny.
Yeah, so I was a little hampered.
So you just moved them forward. They just didn't get as far back on the path, that's all.
Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of darken this. And just kind of do something like that for him. And I got his head too big. So I'm going to just make it smaller. Okay, so it all works. You just got to take them, you know, kind of put it away, and then let's see. Let's just skinny this up here. Give you a little more space between the building and him, like that. Something like that. So, I don't know. Guess it's not my street, so it's hard to imagine. But here you go. Here's her dark cape. And I thought her head was too big too. I'll make that a little smaller. There you go. Yeah, see, that helped. Just kind of put stuff in proportion a little bit better. Some dark green kind of over the edge here. But it's a very strange little roof. I mean, I don't get this house at all over here at all. But that's all right. We're just... Okay. But if you're just talking about, you know, flowers, are we seeing the flowers?
I think you're seeing the flowers.
I think we're seeing the flowers. Do you think so?
You don't think so?
I'm seeing them. I think I'm getting a little punchy with all the...
Oh, the color. There's a lot of color.
There's a lot of color in here. And did you know that you can go kind of colorblind in your own painting?
Yes, you can.
You can just, where you just can't see them anymore. So now we have to do values. So if I were to take a black and white of this and a black and white of his, would I still have that? And that would be the next step. Would I still have the...
I would say you have more contrast than he does.
I wanted to bring these front flowers really forward here. Make sure we had that, right? For sure, right? But, you know, John will do that for us. He'll give us a black and white, and you can see it. I tell everybody to do that, and if you can, try to do the black and white. I think I could bring these flowers, you know what it is I could bring these flowers clear over here further. This whole group.
I don't know if you want to block the path, though. You still want to
well,
indicate
he's got
that's a
about
path.
this much fath, and I don't have as much, but I guess I could. Let's try one more flower over here. Like that. Let's try one more flower right there. And there we go. One more beautiful bright green flower. This is Russian roulette, man, when you do this, right?
That's really not a bright green flower. It really seems yellow to me.
Does it? Oh, you're right. You're right. It's yellow. I was thinking, you're right. Why did I think it was a bright green one?
You might want to put some green leaves around it.
Yeah, that's what I needed. Some green leaves around it.
You kind of threw me for a second.
I could see how that would be. See that little flower right there? I think you definitely needed that. And you see how, even though we're not painting with a palette knife, do you see how we're just caking on the paint? And
this is like a combo. Okay, here's his black and white. Rest my case.
Wow, he had
nothing.
Like, no contrast, did he?
Nope. That's what I said.
Yeah, just none, huh?
His is very, very flat.
So can you take a picture of mine and show everybody the contrast? Would it be possible?
Oh, would it be possible? Anything for you, my queen.
There, I'm just saying, don't you think that would be interesting, you guys, to just see?
A little earth shake there.
Okay, that's good, right? Let's get a picture of that and see how I did.
Picture taken.
Now, if I were going to change this, can I change it? Now that you've taken it, I want to change this building because I think this building looks like a 5-year-old did it.
Well, you look at his, it looks like a 6-year-old did it.
Well, his does too. I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't like his building, right? But what if I changed it, you guys? And you're going, Ginger, how would you change that or even remotely fix that building? Well, okay, so how would we do that? I mean, that's a good question, isn't it? Inquiring minds want to know, right? How would correct that, right?
Okay, wait. What do you think's wrong with it?
Well, I think it needs an awning.
An awning?
I think it needs an awning. I think that's what he was trying to say happened here, but it doesn't have an awning. I think it needs an awning, and the brushstrokes would be different. I think it needs an awning. All right, you guys, you up for that? You guys, you want it? All right, you saw how it is, right? And we could call this done here. You know, I mean, it's actually flowers. It's not done, but we could call this finished. Yes and yes?
Are we going to call it done or call it finished? You are just totally confusing me now. You do this on purpose.
All right.
So you're going to actually do it.
I'm telling you what, because, I mean, I'm not going to sign this.
You know, that was an interesting thing. When we looked at Van Gogh's paintings, a lot of them weren't signed.
Because they weren't finished. And then so many people knocked him off over the years. You'd be amazed at how many pieces were not his that were sold as his, you know, later. We know which ones that he did make because he wrote his brother and sent him sketches. So we actually do know that. All right, how did I do with the black and white? All right, you guys, you see the difference?
I do.
See the contrast?
I could see the difference even before I printed it.
Look at that, see? So, now, all right, so just trust me on this. We're going to change this, all right? Just humor me, you guys.
Here we go.
I mean, you can see kind of how it is.
There? You're all dry, right?
Yeah, we're all dry up here. So we're going to take some...
I'm zoomed in over there now, so don't go crazy elsewhere on me.
No, we're going to come up here and get some white paint.
You do that to me.
Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to white out this awning, which already is better.
See, that's all I needed right there.
Here, and we're going to sweep the brush strokes this way, like that. Say, there's our awning. Okay, and then we're going to take maybe some dark green, because we'll say that's the dark green part, and we're going to do something like this underneath it. Yeah, yes and yes. I mean, come on, you guys. So much simpler, right? And then all we're going to do is just do this. It's going to still match the rest of it. Yeah? In this uneven, sloppy way, we're still going to match it, right? Now,
all right, let's back up. Let's see what we got. Well, yeah, I got to admit, it's kind of nice.
I'm just saying, right? And it just...
Okay, now to me, you still need some kind of stripage going horizontally on those, or something to break up the squares. They're very bright squares now.
These squares now here?
No. Up from the ones you just added.
Oh, no. No, they're fine. They're fine.
Okay.
They're fine. They're fine. This needed to be light.
Whatever.
This needed to be light. So you didn't want them that value. You didn't want them dark like that.
No, not like that.
So
no, I just wanted them streakier.
These needed to be, you know, bright like this, right? And then they come down here, right? And then if I wanted to get really crazy, right?
Crazier?
Yeah. A table and chair in there or something. People in the window. I'm just saying that needed to have a reason for being, you know. Now, if you wanted to, you're saying you think it ought to be stripier, right? Because he had the, well, we could do the blue.
I'm just saying the rest of the painting's got so many stripes from the palette knife.
Oh, I'm saying this
just is... give it more depth, more feeling, more something.
Yeah, okay. Gave it a little more of the stripes going that way. We have stuff coming down here. This is coming like this. Right, these are coming down this way. So, I just think that looks better than that awning that was straight up and down, yeah? And I still wanted it dark. And that dark awning back there. There you go. So that to me, I don't know, that to me, and then it's still dark here on the edge where the, this is coming over like that. And that, I don't know, that to me makes more sense. Did it not make more sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
All right. Because, I mean, got a little more paint left here. I could lighten this up and put a little bit more light in the street than he has. All right, now that's a happy street, right? You think so?
Yeah.
It's a little happier street. And the same thing here, up here, where there was just, you know, you guys, you've got to forgive me because once we start on this weird stuff, right, now I'm going to just...
There'd be no stopping.
I need to have the light around these flowers here. Okay. And we've got the light here. Yes and yes. And of course, cad yellow medium is such a bright yellow. You don't need a lot of that. You can just have a dot of that here and there. It just brings your eye right forward, huh? So flowering bush, I would suppose that's an apt name for this, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it's right there in the foreground.
Yeah, I don't know why we have pink up here on the roof or pink up here, but we got it, right?
Because we're exploring colors.
Because we're exploring colors, yeah. And I guess, well, how did his exploration go, do you think, right?
I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I'm
we can
going to
ask
take
him
a
that
couple
one.
bits of cad red if you want to explore colors and put them on a couple of these roses, maybe 3. Four, 5, these close ones. There.
Punch him up.
Yeah, punch it, because that's a, you know, that's a bright color, and he doesn't have any. This color, for instance, this dark magenta color here, with a little, you can put a little bit of blue with magenta and get a darker purple color, purple blue color, and I think that's part of this color here. And you had a tiny bit of that on the street here, like that. And you're all getting tired of looking at this now, I suppose. You're going, okay, well, I do think the awning looks better. It makes, to me, it makes more sense.
Well, what you've given it is a little bit of realism.
You think that's what I did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what he had was just total bizarreness.
I mean, it looked, you know, to me, you know, I didn't want to be mean, but you can see I'm totally out of paint here. Nothing's light enough. There were some light bits on here. And I can add to that bank, so it's not too much. And then you've got your crazy people gossiping in the neighborhood, yeah?
Absolutely.
And you've
They're
got
probably talking about how lovely the yellow flowers are up at the front of the path.
Do you think that that's what they're doing?
Absolutely. They're excited about them.
You think so?
They want them at their home. They now have an awning.
So, I mean, I like that you see the, leaves. And, you know, all this makes sense to me now. I hope it does to you. Okay. I'm done. I don't know that I'll sign it. Maybe I will. I'll think about that. I don't know that I'll sign it. But I hope you had fun painting it with me, right? Because, you know, I think if you back it up.
Let me back it up. Meow. Well, I think you captured the essence of it.
Yeah, you know, I do too. I do too. You know, I mean, I think so, don't you? The only thing I might have done was brought this house over further and shortened this one. But there's, you know, maybe moved everybody over.
Shifted everybody.
Shifted everybody over to the right a little. Could have done that. You know, brought everybody over a little further, shortened this. But there's still not that much, you know. But I think all in all, you know, all things considered, you know, do we understand how he painted this? Is this a style you want to paint? And who was this guy? Again, what was his name again, John?
That was Emile. E-M-I-L N-O-L-D-E.
Okay.
Gold. Who was Danish to begin with and decided he wanted to go to Germany.
Well, he met the, you know, his girlfriend, right?
Yeah. An actress.
An actress. And, you know, back in those days, that was a big deal.
Absolutely.
Maybe not to his mother, but probably had to go to Germany. Actress and prostitute were really close together in that time frame. You know, it's in the eyes of a lot of parents. Maybe not saying in really true, but in the eyes of a lot of parents, that was the case, right?
Yeah, that is the case.
Right. So there might have been a little bit of that. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
So, all right. I don't think I need to put any yellow up here in my awning, right?
So what are you doing? You're putting yellow up in the awning. I don't need to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways.
I just did it anyway.
Can you do the first one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because he had all these strange little colors. Maybe I should have done red, but I just,
Oh,
there
that
it
would have
is.
been too bizarre. But
So-
he would have done that.
He would have put the, well, he had all this red up there. I just keep looking. I just like my awning better, but he had all this red up there that tied in together.
Yeah.
All right, as long as we're just going nuts and crazy, right? So here, instead of the yellow, I'll just do a little, that ties it in with these down pieces, up and down pieces, like this.
Perfect.
There.
Holds it together.
Yeah, it did. It kind of needed that, right? But I'm sorry, the shape of this and that I think is better. Just it reads
That
better
looks
to
like
me.
your European villages that we do.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like that. And this lady here, she had a, let's see, where'd that white go that I just got out? A little bit of white. She had this white, came up a little further next to this like gal right like this. And then she had this white coat, which was here, right? So I just was trying to get that. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, all right. So we learned a little something about
This type of art.
this type of art, which is expressionism, and you know, just to, you know, so I, you know, hope you take some time and express yourself, and
It's kind of a free-for-all. You can't be wrong. But there is some design fundamentals and color theories that you should practice.
yeah. And
while
here's a
you're
little
doing it.
red center on this flower here, and then it had a little bit of white design. This was interesting. This flower here is
Which
looking
flower?
at you. Some of them are going up like this, and this one's bent over and looking at you. I just noticed that.
Well, what's wrong with that?
No, I like it.
He wants to look out to the picture, to the people.
So he's this, and it's got a little light petal right here because it's looking at you right there. See? That flower is looking at you. Have you heard that expression, here's looking at you, babe?
He was looking at you, babe.
Here's looking at you, babe, all right? All right, so, all right, I'll stop you guys. I think we got the idea of it, bright, colorful. And remember, this is the same guys that designed the pansy painting that we have, you know, the pansy painting that I did some years ago.
Those are the only two that I.
But those are the only ones he had that had any color. Everything else was really kind of sad and depressing, and I really didn't like much of it. But it's still kind of like this. Hope you did too. And till next time, stay tuned for some final announcements from us that might make you feel 100% better.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. Be sure to subscribe.
And press that thumbs up.
Well, you guys, I don't think I can look at another commercial about how to unstop the toilet, or maybe you two can learn to draw. That, you know, we have to have those in our video in order to kind of cover some costs, but I thought it would be fun, as long as we were doing it, to put a commercial in for ourselves. So here's the commercial from me to you. I want you to have a wonderful day. I want you to be the artist you can be. I want you to get up in the morning and say, today's the day I'm going to be happier than I was yesterday. This is my commercial in wishing you the bestest, happiest day of your life. And art hugs from John and I.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.